Hello, Moon Babes. It is Jilly Moon Andromeda, soul alchemist and evolutionary astrologer, here to help you uncover uncomfortable truths with a side of candy and a whole lot of love. Here is a cosmic report for you today, Friday, December 18th, 2020. And Friday is our day brought to us by the planet Venus, so it's all about the good times and seeking pleasure, maybe sensual gratification, maybe spending some money, maybe eating some good foods. We're vibrating at a 7, so 7 energy, I always feel like 7 is very closely tied with like Jupiter and like Uranus energy or something. It's like kind of eccentric, but also introspective and broadening energy. Today, I wanted to check in because we officially are in Saturn. Saturn has officially entered Aquarius, so congratulations to everyone who has officially completed their Saturn return. If you were born with Saturn in Capricorn, individuals who are around the age of like 30 to 32, and then also older individuals who are about like 57 to 60, I believe, have just completed their Saturn return. And Saturn in Capricorn really had us needing to get serious. It's the planetary ruler. Saturn is the planetary ruler of Capricorn. So we were really needing to get serious and buckle down on our responsibilities. And depending upon where Saturn is in your chart, that is where you had the most responsibility. Now, Saturn might still be in that position depending upon how your chart is set up, but Saturn has now moved into Aquarius, which is the ancient Aquarius was ancient astrology has Aquarius being governed by Saturn, but now that we have Uranus, we know that Uranus is the planetary ruler of Aquarius. But traditionally speaking, I still associate it as being one of the planetary rulers of Aquarius. So Saturn in Aquarius. Okay, so this time period for the next 3 years until March 7th, I believe, 2023, is all about breaking away from structure, from limitations, from restrictions, but in a responsible way. It's all about like seeing the responsibility that each one of us has in advancing humanity forward and pushing progress forward, getting like advanced and technology, healing, things like that. So this is going to definitely be a time period where we will see new advancements in technology, new advancements in medicine. And it just might be just a weird time. Now, the last time that Saturn was in Aquarius was in 1991 to 1993, I believe. 1994-ish. I don't know. Don't have it exactly. But, and what was going on at that time period? Well, that was when the internet like officially became like a thing. We had the first website launch in August of 1991. And so the internet is experiencing its Saturn return. So expect big changes to occur with the internet. I would think that we're going to see some structures implemented on the internet. Like right now, the internet is kind of, I mean, depending upon who you talk to, some people would probably say that it's, there's all kinds of censorship. There is a lot of censorship on the internet. That is definitely true. And there's reasons for certain censorships, but it's kind of like the Wild West on the internet in a way. There aren't any laws, there aren't any rules, there aren't any structures, there's no limitations. So there's a possibility that we'll start to see more limitations, structures, rules, laws probably being made, because also Jupiter is entering Aquarius on Saturday at 8:07 a.m. Eastern. And so there's going to be big changes happening with the internet and happening within communities. I do think there's going to be a lot of people who will be breaking away from their previous structures, possibly a lot of more community or communal living, because Aquarius rules our 11th house, governs our 11th house, and it's all about the community. It's all about your associations, your networks. And like, how strong are they? How strong are those networks? Well, it's very important to get strong networks right now. And because, Saturn is, the wall, it's the bricks. And so right now, your community is like, in a sense, like your bricks. It's your bricks and mortar. It's like you need that solid foundation within your community. And possibly your solid foundation on the internet. Those of you who have started in these past 3 years, maybe even longer, started really branching out on the internet and meeting like-minded individuals, possibly starting online businesses, because I do think that is also going to be a big shift. Is that we're going to be working, I think, primarily from the internet. Like, a lot of people, like, not just, internet businesses and stuff like that, but I think what COVID this past year, 2020, has taught us is that we actually can work from home through Zoom and stuff like that. There's really no reason for going to these structures. So this is going to be another thing. It's like we're breaking away from buildings, like living in buildings, and working from buildings, being separate from our home, being separate from our community. And we're going to be, that's going to be one radical change, I believe, coming in the near future, or it's already starting to happen for us. And so I wanted to look at the chart of Saturn entering Aquarius, because that can give us a little bit of an idea of what is going on. And now I want to remind you that when I do these charts, I'm doing them for where I live. So I live in Maine, and so I ran this chart for Portland, Maine. So if you're not in the Eastern time zone, this chart is going to look a little bit different, and it may not entirely apply to you, the effects. But yeah, if you are in the Eastern time zone, this chart is for you, and I might go over the houses, but mostly I'm going to be looking at the aspects that are happening in this chart. So where is Saturn? Saturn is right here, right in the middle of Jupiter and Pallas, right there, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 12:04 a.m. Eastern on December 17th. And Jupiter will be entering Aquarius, again, like I said, on Saturday. But I thought this was very interesting that the moon in Capricorn, which the moon is now currently in Aquarius, it was at 29 degrees, 12 minutes at the time of this shift. So it was like the moon just missed making a conjunction, one final conjunction with Saturn in Capricorn before it moved to Aquarius. So the moon is like conjunct Saturn in this chart, and so is Jupiter, of course, Pallas Athene. I mean, Pluto is basically conjunct it out as well. But I found this very interesting, is that, the rising degree of this chart, this particular chart, is making a trine aspect to that Saturn in Aquarius, almost exactly. They're a degree away from each other. And it's found in the fifth house of recreation, entertainment, children, creativity, all the Leo matters within our lives. And so there is this need to kind of solidify, crystallize your expression, your self-expression, with these next 3 years of Saturn being in Aquarius, and particularly your self-expression on the internet, I believe, or within communities. Okay, so now this is the opposite in a way, because Leo is the polarity point of Aquarius. They're sister signs, Leo and Aquarius, and so they kind of represent two ends of a spectrum. So Aquarius is usually this house over here in the 11th house, and Leo is over here in the 5th house. And so when you have Aquarius in the fifth house, actually, like I do because I have a Libra rising, so my chart is flipped like this as well. Aquarius in the fifth house is kind of like expressing in very unique and possibly disruptive ways. And I know from experience that is entirely true. Just a very kind of detached also form of expression. And it's a very personal and detached form of expression. So really toning in, I would say, or really fine-tuning the details within your self-expression, really focusing on your self-expression and how, how you're able to express without too much of an ego, I would say. Because the fifth house ego, it's like Leo can have a bit of an ego. It's a different type of ego compared to I would say Capricorn energy. But it's kind of like the look at me ego, aren't I special? So getting serious about that, how are you special? What gifts, what talents do you have for the collective? Okay, what can you do for the collective? What knowledge have you amassed? What can you give back to the collective? And this is going to be a time period where you will discover that. And no matter what sign you are, but especially for, Aquariuses, people who have their sun in Aquarius, the sun is the planetary ruler of Leo. So similar, this will be very strongly felt in Aquarius natives, Aquarius, sun and Aquarius natives. So if you were born with sun in Aquarius, this is going to be a time for you to really buckle down on your self-expression and get serious about it. Possibly you don't really want to start any new projects. I'm gonna be honest. Aquarius is sorry, but you need to focus on what you have already started and see that through to completion. Okay, you need to kind of put your foot on the brake for a minute and focus on your responsibilities and everything that you have been, bringing into life. So there might be quite a bit of responsibility also with children and children on the internet. And as we all know, a lot of children are going to school on the internet right now. So this conjunction with all of them, with the moon, Jupiter, and Saturn, the moon is in the fourth house, but there's this need to have structure with how we go about in the world, how we build structure in the world, how we express ourselves in the world, how we even provide nurturance to ourselves while we're out in the world, our public image. Okay, so how are you taking care of that? Okay, I really, really love that this is going on in the third house, the south node, conjunct Mercury, conjunct the sun. Of course, it's a wide orb, but it's still pretty much conjunct down there in the third house. The third house is our communications. It is the house of our Gemini, life matters. So there, with the south node being there, and it, Mercury and the sun opposing the north node across from it in the ninth house, and it's in Gemini. Oh my God. Okay, so this is really important. And if you are a Libra rising like I am, you may already be aware of this, but it's time to go back to school. It's time to study things that might be a little bit foreign to you, and it's time to let go of previous belief systems, of previous ideas of expansion, of travel, of, and these things are going to be changing, as we've seen in 2020. So let go of the previous ideas, the previous identity with being such an expansive, abundant person. I would say it's definitely a time to, because we're going to be structuring our creativity, structuring our individual talents and how we bring them to the collective. it's time to kind of buckle down and not expand so far, and to like maybe expand in a more local manner, local community. The planetary ruler of this chart is Venus in Sagittarius in the second house, conjunct Juno. So there's definitely this need to, and it's also almost opposite Uranus and Taurus in the 8th house, which is the esoteric planetary ruler of this chart. So how our soul is actually handling this energy. And wow, okay. Just, getting downloads as I'm doing this. The vertex. The vertex don't really talk too much about that. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's really obscure, but I really like I really use the vertex, and I really do look at the vertex because it's a pretty important, I believe, aspect of the chart. Especially I think I studied it for about 2 years, and I found its significance quite profound. The vertex is a point in the chart that shows you how fateful encounters come into your life. It's always found in like a relationship house, so it has to do with other people coming into your life. And because that vertex is in the 7th house and it's conjunct Chiron, the centaur planet that's found between the orbits of Saturn and Uranus, because it's it's right there in the 7th house, cusp of the 7th house opens up to relationships, and it's conjunct Chiron. This means that actually the more that you are able to be yourself, be authentically yourself, good things will come to you. Like people will come into your, I don't know if it's really good things. I wouldn't say it's good things. The vertex doesn't really mean it's good or bad, but fateful encounters will come to you. So even if you're not being yourself, even if you're facing quite a bit of issues with being yourself, there's going to be quite a bit of new life, I would say, new connections, or possibly triggering connections. So I feel like this is going to be a time period where all of our identities are going to be triggered big time. And again, I want you to just stay open. I don't know if you remember, if you watched my video on the solar eclipse, but this is a time for us to remain open to new information, to logical and factual and scientific information, especially because that's what Gemini really likes. They like, the facts. They're not one to really stand by dogma or doctrines or religion or so remain open to possibly the triggers that are coming to your life, the individuals who may trigger you. We do have Mars also in Aries in the 7th house, so I do feel like there's a lot of new life coming into our relationships, and I think we saw that with the solar eclipse. There was a lot of exiting of individuals in our lives during that time, or kind of like not recalibrating of the energies that we welcomed into our life, and aligning better, and that's what Saturn and Aquarius is all about, is really like aligning with those, who are like-minded individuals, sharing a common cause, things like that. But you just want to make sure you don't, I wish I could remember. There was a tweet that Jessica Lanyadoo wrote, which is, I highly recommend tuning into Jessica Lanyadoo. She's a wonderful astrologer, and she's really like one of my biggest inspirations, and she really helped me realize how much potential there is in this work, and it really opened my eyes. So I highly recommend her. But anyways, what she said was, she was talking about, she made a tweet about toxic individualism, which I feel like that could definitely be a thing that happens with Saturn and Aquarius. And because it's also in this fifth house in the Eastern chart, and also because the vertex is conjunct Chiron, in Aries. You don't really want to be like so contrarian that you like lose yourself and you actually become like toxic to the others around you. So yeah, I do think there could be quite a bit of behavior coming up with people just rebelling against the system just to rebel against the system, and they're not entirely aware of all of the facts or information, and they're just sticking to dogma, sticking to their doctrines, sticking to religion, possibly spirituality, because I feel like Sagittarius is kind of like a lower form of spirituality, whereas like Neptune is like the higher form of spirituality. And if you have my zodiac chart, you would see that I had written that on there. But that's what I mean by that. It's like Sagittarius is trying to reach God, whereas like Neptune is there already with God in a way. But yeah, again, and in this chart we do have that T-square again, because that's been going on for quite some time, the T-square of the nodal axis to Neptune. So a lot of confusion, a lot of deception, possibly deception of health. Sixth house. Okay, so and the way for us to actually resolve this issue, this deception of our bodies, of our what is healthy. Like, you can't take a spiritual approach really to health. I mean, you can in a way, like, the way that you resolve this is actually by leaning further into that north node in the ninth house. So higher forms of education, go back to school, take some courses. I mean, the North Node is in Gemini right now, so all of us are learners, okay? So I want you to understand that. You are all learners right now. I want everyone to play dumb, act like you don't know anything, because I'm seeing a lot of people acting like they know a lot of things about topics that they are not at all qualified to talk about. And I think it's really best to listen to the people who are qualified, maybe listen to many different people who are qualified in the same subject. I don't want you to just, pigeonhole where you get your information. I don't know how long I've been doing this, but anyways, I just wanted to jump on here and say a few things about this Saturn entering Aquarius. Juno will be entering Sagittarius today at 12:25 p.m., so very shortly. So this will be a great time for you to expand who you connect with, who you commit to, who you're loyal to, okay? And possibly exploring different cultures and talking to different types of people. Maybe it's a time to learn a new language. I don't know. But, really get your thinking caps on. If you are able to, take a course, take an online course. There's lots of free online courses I see all the time from some really reputable sources. So, take this time. North Node and Gemini, you're all learners. We're all students right now. Do the homework, okay? I love you, Moon Babes. I'll be back with another one of these types of videos in the near future, probably on Saturday. Saturday's going to be a really good day. I feel like it's a lucky day. So tomorrow, take note of that. I feel like it's a good day. We have Jupiter entering Aquarius, Moon will be in Pisces, it's an 8-day, and the Sun will be making a conjunction to Mercury, a Cazimi. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow to talk more. I love you, Moon Babes. Be well.